We're on page 29, Power Team Momentum, and right now what we're basically looking to do is expand the systematic visibility that we're using here. We've been looking at 1 through 4. Now we're going to go deep and wide with levels 5 through 10. We've already, in the material, begun implementing level 1, which is transactional visibility with the business card organizer. We've been using that to create referrals. If nothing else, transactionally, as we're doing business, using the business card organizer, giving compelling testimonials and creating referrals is really where it needs to begin. And as leaders, that's where the expectation should be for the people in the chapter and the people on the power team. The expectation should be that they use the business card organizer and create referrals. Next, situational, recognizing people who are experiencing the 6 key situations, somebody having a baby, a growing family, someone building a business, relocating, getting healthy, whatever it is, and asking trigger questions. What's your biggest challenge as you recover from that injury? What's your biggest challenge with building your business? And whatever the answer is should lead us to a referral. Okay. Level 3 is reverse visibility, and this is where we take a look at each other's database, clients, sphere of influence. Very, very powerful. Requires a high level of trust. And at this point, you should or could be, I won't make a judgment, but I will give guidance, you could be implementing level 3. I guarantee you'll create referrals if you use reverse visibility to look at each other's database, clients, sphere of influence, and describe in a structured way. We give you the outline on how to profile your clients and sphere of influence. Show that client, customer, friend, family member, associate, acquaintance, whoever it might be, to your networking partner. Let them see for themselves if there's opportunity. It's a guaranteed moneymaker. Level 4, the annual review. A bit more proactive in terms of actually calling people, checking in, and in essence asking a series of trigger questions. To uncover referral opportunities for the people that you're networking with. So that's levels 1 through 4. That stuff should be happening among 2 people, 3 people at this level now. Okay? If we're firing on any of those 4 cylinders, we're going to be creating referrals. It's very simple, and I guarantee it. Absolutely guarantee it. Now we're going to move beyond that, okay? If you haven't personally, in your Power Team Certified experience, gotten into that level of activity, don't get misled into jumping right into what we're talking about now and skipping over what we've covered so far. That's a big and common mistake, and it's a fatal flaw, is that way too often groups get together as a power team and they skip over levels 1 through 4, the things that require personal commitment and communication activity, where they actually step into the ring and create referrals by recognizing opportunity, asking trigger questions, giving compelling testimonials. That's the work. That's the activity that too often we tend to skip over and jump to these other things that we're going to talk about now, which are more collective and more group-oriented. Okay? They're very, very important, but they should only come. They should only come after you've been generating referrals with levels 1 through 4. So I guess the topic is, it's the importance of levels 1 through 4, of the stuff that we've already covered. And your expectation as leaders is that that's where most of the people in the chapter may do 1 or 2. You know, they might do 1 or 2 of those things. But now with levels 5 through 10, this is where it's going to be easier for a lot of those people to, be made relevant and to participate, as you'll see. Okay, so that's where we're at on page 29, lesson plan number 8. The webinar that corresponds to this is webinar number 15, Systematic Visibility Levels 5 through 10. Okay, we move to page 30 now. And let's have a look at this advanced visibility, okay? So officially, we're midway through the 16 lesson plans, and hopefully by now, particularly if you're going to implement this material, your power team is up and running. So basically what that means is at this point in the program, your bragging buddy and you, your duo, or maybe trio, has formed a power team pioneer group with another duo or trio. So it's going to be most likely 4 people, maybe 5 or 6 people. Okay. The good news is that each of you have been already creating referrals for at least one other person. It's already in motion. It's not something that you have to figure out how to do. You're getting it done with one other person. Now you're going to switch networking partner and continue to promote your original bragging buddy, but now you're going to go through meetings 1 and 2 with one of the new people, and then the other person, meetings 1 and 2, and now you're systematically promoting these 2 or 3 new people in addition to your bragging buddy. They're doing the same for you. That's power team pioneers. At that point, once we've got that rocking and rolling, everybody's gone through the boot camp meetings together, now we're ready for today's material, which is the initial planning meeting is in the books, and now you're ready to follow the roadmap. Okay, you guys have already come together as Power Team pioneers, and you're ready to accelerate now into some more advanced levels of systematic visibility. So things really start to get interesting here, and this is the point where the folks who are active in the Power Team really start elevating the level of activity at the entire chapter level. So as a leader, whether it be a director or a leadership team, it's at this point where the benefit transfers from the individual members that are having positive results to those members now creating an abundance which carries over to the entire chapter. And so this is where things do get very dynamic. So let's go through these real quickly, and we'll take some time as we go through to show you a scoring system where you can begin to critique yourself and not only focus on the things you're already getting done, but what are the opportunities to expand. So let's do a quick high-level overview. As we've already talked about, the first few levels, number 1 is the business card organizer. Number 2, the 6 key situations. Then comes reverse visibility, the annual review. Now, starting with number 5, we're on page 30. Here, we're talking about sort of a generic roster-based website, directory, or newsletter. Okay? This would just be a website, directory, or newsletter for your BNI chapter, and most of you probably already have the website. We're going to talk a little bit about the key situation flyers, which gives you a directory that you can actually hand to someone, kind of a trifold that goes over some of the business categories in your chapter. And then we're also talking about a newsletter, a chapter roster-based sort of newsletter that could be an ongoing type of communication from your chapter to each of your individual databases and so forth. So that's level 5, is website, directory, and possibly a newsletter. Then number 6 kicks it up a notch. Here we're talking about a lot of the same channels, whether it be a website, directory, newsletter, blog, LinkedIn, or Facebook group. But now it's target marketed. Now it's not really talking so much about the composition of the chapter. Now it's taking the perspective of people who are building a business will be interested in this website because it's focused on the benefits of the chapter members to the business builder. It becomes target marketed. It can be focused to people planning a wedding. people, in the growing family situation, or relocating into town is a great one. Getting healthy, obviously. All of the 6 key situations now become the theme by which the website, directory, newsletter, or other channel, if you will, that's the voice that it's spoken through. Does that make sense? So that's the difference between 5 and 6. Is 5 is just about the chapter, the roster, but 6 is through the lens of the target market as per one of the 6 key situations. And now we get into number 7, which is a target market seminar or workshop. Okay, so we're going to take the concept of a target market channel of communication, right? A website or a newsletter, something like that. Now we're going to take the target marketed concept and turn it into a live event, a seminar, or a workshop. Now, this is powerful stuff. And depending on the composition of the chapter, if we have folks that are, good at public speaking, and I'm sure that we do, and we can identify our target market based on one of the 6 key situations, now we can create a live event that showcases our members as the expert, gives them that credibility or accelerates the credibility that they already have, helps make them more visible as credible experts, and VC leads to profitability, and nothing better than the live event. Even the folks who aren't speaking as experts can be promoted as generous sponsors. There's things that the other people in the chapter can do to promote the event, support the event, produce the event, that can be very, very powerful. And so we're all about word of mouth networking. We understand the value of face-to-face contact, and doing it with a target marketed seminar is super powerful for putting your power team partners in the best light as experts that will have influence over people when they give compelling testimonials for you. So that's a lot of fun, and we can put a lot of focus into this, and it's worth it depending on the strengths of your particular chapter. Then we switch gears to the social gathering or special event, also related to the concepts that make the live seminar workshop valuable in terms of building rapport with folks, but now we're getting a little outside the business of business, and now we're getting into building deep and meaningful relationships. So as we look at your chapter roster, we're going to be doing this today. We're going to take a look at who has skills, talents, and resources that lend themselves to these different systematic visibility techniques. Do we have an event planner, or do we have somebody maybe in a completely unrelated business who just likes planning events, has connections? They might be in a completely different business. So we're going to do a couple exercises in the next half hour or so that are going to uncover skills, talents, and resources in the chapter that have nothing to do with the person's business category, okay? But it has everything to do with helping create more referrals. So that's level 8. Talk more about that in a few minutes. Website links, online reviews. This is, very straightforward technique where the folks in the chapter, the power team, can build each other's, ratings online, visibility online through linking to each other's websites, giving good online reviews for their networking partners, and really mobilizing the databases to also encourage people clients and customers to write online reviews, not only for themselves, but for their networking partners that they've done business with. So there's a lot of activity for groups that have strength online. And then good old combined advertising marketing. I mean, the bottom line is I want to help you make more money. And obviously, our vast majority of our focus is on word of mouth referrals. And that's going to continue. But it would be silly to not take a look at how the people on the power team and the BNI chapter itself can combine talent, skills, and resources, if appropriate, for advertising and marketing that they're already doing. Maybe they can find some efficiency of scale by combining some eliminating some overlap. So this is clearly an area where the power team can synergize, and so we definitely include it as our final level of systematic visibility. And so basically that's kind of a quick high-level overview as we went through pages 29, 30, and 31. And so we finish up by asking the question, which levels of systematic visibility are the best for your business and power team? I'll look for any questions. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, folks type some things in. Can this be a Facebook page we have now? Yes, it can, Ron. Absolutely. The idea is that it can be a Facebook page just about your chapter, kind of like I say, a generic overview of who's in the chapter, what their business categories are, or you can create the business builder page for your chapter. The getting married page, the getting healthy page. Follow me? You can have 6, right? If you have an active enough chapter. And so this is where getting into your Power Team roster success worksheets are key, and we may do a little bit of that off the cuff today. We blocked out 90 minutes. We'll see how fast we go through the material, but that's my answer. So yeah, Facebook is wonderful for that. Can members start doing this in their showcase presentations, Diane asks. Well, sure. Oh yeah, that's the whole idea. The point is that we want to unlock all this potential energy that's lying dormant in the chapter where people can raise their hand and say, by golly, I want to contribute in this particular way. Okay, and I'll show you more. We're going to keep going down this road now, so I'm glad we've got some questions. The target marketed seminar or workshop, how about starting that during the featured presentation at the chapter level, plan it out ahead, and promote it ahead of time? That's what you're saying. And the idea too is not only, if let's just use the example of the florist and what was the other, florist and the jeweler and the florist going to be doing a very special presentation for brides. You know, please invite anybody that you know that's thinking of getting married or knows someone, helping someone who's getting married, but also these golden goose business categories that are also in the wedding business that we have an opening for in our chapter. Does anybody know a good wedding photographer, a good caterer, yada yada? And we just basically go through, right, the connector to creator worksheets at the back of the roadmap workbook for those golden goose referral sources for the getting married key situation. It's just that simple. And invite those open categories as well, and imagine how they will be excited seeing their target market in abundance, as well as experts in the chapter to pass referrals back and forth with. It's the yin and the yang. So, well, good. Yeah, there you go. So that's a very practical tip, and I love it. And what I would also recommend is that because the timing is going to be fairly tight, you're only going to have whatever you block out, that 10 to 15 minutes. What I would say is plan on promoting a off-site event where you make it, you know, a 60-minute presentation with refreshments and door prizes, and you know, use that in chapter presentation to promote something even bigger if you're at that stage. So good stuff. 100% relevant. So now what we're saying is you guys have gotten together with another duo or trio. You've created Power Team Pioneers. You have reviewed 10 levels of systematic visibility. There's 4 to 6 of you. You guys are already using levels 1 through 4, the personal stuff, the in the trenches stuff, to create referrals. That's on you to do personally. You make the commitment. You look your bragging buddy in the eye and say, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to use 3 to 5 trigger questions a day every single day to create referrals for you and the other members of our power team. I'm going to do an annual review phone call once a day, 3 times a week. You and I are going to be getting together once a week for reverse visibility. I make the commitment to you. I'm holding you accountable because you made the commitment to me, and by golly, we're creating referrals left and right. That's where we're at. Now what we're going to do is really dig into who else in the chapter can we promote with some of these other techniques and really create an abundance. Not only create referrals for them, but if they have talents or skills that can contribute to putting these events on, or these online techniques, or these printed collateral documents. If they have talent, skills, or resources, let's unlock that. So that's really what we're talking about here. So lesson plan number 9, the goals here are that we're going to start meeting with other members of the chapter that have relevant products or services. Not necessarily your bragging buddies, but people with relevant products or services. You're going to be now running the Power Team agenda, including inviting these people from time to time to focus on them, learn more about them so you can brag about them. And then as a result, you're entering the 4th stage as an advanced power team. So we're going to slow down and look at what this means specifically right now. This is supported by webinar number 16, which is 100% relevant. Systematic visibility of complementary products and services. So we turn to page 33. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the other people in the chapter and how to make them systematically visible. We're more than halfway through the process, and we're talking about giving in abundance here and really giving consumer value to your clients and customers beyond the people in your industry group or your contact sphere, people from other parts of your BNI chapter that have products that your target market cares about. The idea here is that we're all looking for a healthy chapter, because it's the healthy chapter that ultimately feeds our business and feeds the growth of our income. And so we want to make sure that we understand the value of the chapter, not just the individuals on the power team. So the idea here is that, at the chapter level, we're all visitor hosts. We never let a visitor sit by themselves. We want to all take responsibility for making visitors feel welcome and helping them see themselves make money through BNI. By the same notion, we want to make sure that everybody is responsible for letting us know how we can make them relevant. If they have a product or service, every one of us should be contributing to the power team just by doing a great job and making visible what they do. It's our responsibility to promote all of these relevant products or services. That's what makes this system work. As a result, we're going to be increasing the chapter's retention. We're going to be getting referrals in return. And it really boils down to this tendency matrix. Okay? So as we looked at this matrix before, the contact spheres are all listed on the left, business services, all the way down to health and wellness at the bottom, and then across the top, the getting married key situation. So depending on where your business lies, which contact sphere, and what your number 1 key situation is, in this case, event services and people getting married, you want to take a look at the other contact spheres in your group that may have relevant products or services and start talking to these people about the getting married key situation. Okay, I'm going to show you in detail what that looks like here in a moment. Same thing in the business builder. Okay, when you're in the business builder key situation, in many cases, we're not going to try to fit you in to the other key situations. You're in the business of helping people build a business, and people getting married or growing families or people recovering from illness or injury really aren't relevant to you in the form of inbound referrals. And that's okay. We're not going to force a round peg into a square hole. But what is important is that you understand how the other contact spheres have products or services that are relevant to your target market, the business builder, and promote them systematically. So personal services. The interesting thing about personal services business categories is they're relevant not because of the business of business, it's because of the life of the business builder. Personal services provide convenience and a superior quality of life in many cases performing tasks that the business builder doesn't have the time for. They're too busy building the darn business. So by understanding, if you're in the business builder key situation, if you're a business coach or some other business that's specifically business to business, look around the chapter and ask, well, who in these other contact spheres can be relevant, not just to the business of business, but to the lifestyle of my client. And of course, event services is key to the business builder in the form client appreciation events, open house events, launch parties, and so forth. And you can literally go through the list now depending on where your focus is and look at these other contact spheres and say, who's in my chapter? Who can I promote because my client can benefit? And that's really what we're talking about. And so what you can do now in your workbook is go ahead and circle your number one key situation and circle that key situation and take a look at your roster to identify who might be in your chapter already as a good potential person who you can systematically promote. Also mention that you can go to the back of the book, Money on the Table, chapters 13 through 18, and take a look at all these different contact spheres, what products or services can be relevant. And if you look at your key situation, you can identify who in your chapter might be a good fit. So here we're going to be looking at something called the key situation flyers. And the key situation flyers can be used as promotional material that will get the juices flowing and give you some ideas on how we can start using some of these advanced levels of systematic visibility, and also give you some ideas on how the people in your chapter may be relevant that are not so obvious. So let's go to the Money on the Table book website. Okay, so let's take a look at where these key situation flyers can be found. And if you go across the top of the Money on the Table website, you can see free worksheets. So you'll click on that, and you'll see in the right column the key situation flyers. Okay, the key situation flyers. And so what we've done is we've just created a library of these flyers, one for each of the 6 key situations that you can use. You can use them for training purposes, or you can use them for promotional purposes. So I'm going to give you 2 tips. You'll see them on page 35 of your workbook, and we'll work our way through this, and then I'll show you a couple of the actual flyers. So let's just have a look at it. The key situation flyers. So the first tip is that you're only going to show the business categories, not the name of the specific person or business. Just the business category and maybe the consumer benefit. This will give you maximum flexibility as your Power Team roster changes over time. You won't have to keep changing the flyer as different people come and go. And you can also promote open business categories and use it as a way to attract people in those categories and show how you're already creating referrals for that business category. Wouldn't you like to be the person who's receiving them? So we only show the business category and the consumer benefit, not the contact information or specifics on the person or business. And the second tip is the contact information. Only list your contact information. And when you do that, what's happening is that you're requiring the communication to flow through you. That does a couple of things. Basically, you're able to keep track of the referral. You're able to communicate with your networking partners for a heads up that a referral's coming their way. And this increased level of communication increases your top of mind awareness in the mind of the other person who you're networking with. They know that you're being thorough by handing the referral off and keeping an eye on it. And also top of mind for the consumer, for the prospect, for the person in your database who's calling you as a problem solver. You're the person they're thinking of, not bypassing you and going directly to the vendor that's in your directory. Okay, so There's a couple reasons why we only list the business category, the consumer benefit, and not the name, business name, or contact information. So having said that, let's take a look at one or two of these forms, and you'll see I've got them in PDF, so you can print them out as a training device, or I have them in publisher format, so you can actually customize for your group and use for promotional purposes. So let's just take a look at the Getting Married flyer. And it's nothing fancy, but it is very effective. This is a tri-fold flyer. We'll start with the front, and so the way that it folds up, planning a wedding, this is the front flap, so it gets folded right there, 2/3 over from left to right. This becomes the front, gets folded again. This becomes the inside flap, which is basically a compelling testimonial about the people listed. And then your logo, your BNI logo, your business logo, however you want to dress it up. This is the back of the flyer. What we do then on the other side is we list the business categories and the consumer benefit of that product or service to people getting married, right? That's what was on the front. Maybe I didn't spend enough time looking at that real quickly, but what it says is planning a wedding. Few events in life involve more plans and details than a wedding. I network with a group of local business people who might be of assistance to you and your family. So that's on the front. On the back, or on the inside flap when you open it up, these businesses are members of my Power Team referral network. To join my referral network, businesses make a professional commitment dedicated to providing the highest quality service to their clients. These people are professionals who we've come to know, trust, and use ourselves. So this is the language that we're giving you. Of course, you can change it if you like, but that's the compelling testimonial. And then we get into the specific categories. We're breaking it down before the wedding, honeymoon and newlywed life, plan for the future. And I won't go through each one of these, but you can do that and get some ideas. This all ties together with the appropriate chapter at the back of the Money on the Table book, which are organized by key situations. My recommendation is that you staple your business card to the flyer, and then on the publisher version, you take out your business card here and you actually type in your information. So that way, when you give this flyer as collateral material, someone can literally pull the card off and your information will still be there, but you've doubled the delivery, if you will, the distribution of the piece by stapling a card and having the information below. Okay, so that's the wedding flyer. And now you can just take a look at any one that you want, the business builder. So the business builder flyer is set up the same way. A compelling testimonial at the front, this time starting a new business. I network with a group of local business people who might be of assistance to you. We take the same business categories that we promoted differently, but now we're showing them how they're relevant to the business builder. And it's the same format. So you get the idea. You can use these in any way that you like, whether it be to train the other people in your chapter or to promote each other. I recommend that you do both. Okay? So that basically is my delivery of page 35 in your workbook. You can see an example in page 36. That's a more sophisticated, graphically designed piece. And again, you can bring these up in Publisher and customize them any way that you like. You'll find all that stuff on the free worksheet tab on the moneyonthetablebook.com website. We go to page 37, and basically what we're seeing here is that your goal is to complete the scorecard, but realistically, based on where you're at in the system, start moving towards a place where you can fill this out and have a good score, and use it basically for the second check mark. Identify areas to implement or improve systematic visibility with the Power Team partners and also BNI chapter members with relevant products or services. So this is really what we want to do now, is once we get you and your bragging buddy to create referrals using levels 1 through 4, we want you to join with another duo and start creating referrals with levels 1 through 4. That's where most of us are at now, except for Charles. I know that you and your group are, into this stage. Now, at that point, we start identifying which of these other levels of systematic visibility are meaningful for us. We're going to look at that scorecard on page 38. You see it here on the screen. And we're just going to go through these real quickly and look at how this is set up. So the left column on the page 38 is the level of systematic visibility name, and the second column, do I, is the description of the activity that you can take with this. Are you doing this? And if so, you rate yourself on the scale. So it's a relative scale, sliding scale. Point is that if it's 1 through 20 or 1 through 12 or 1 through 3, if you're doing it perfectly, you give yourself the highest score available and write it down. So do I consistently use the business card organizer to promote the power team to clients at an appropriate point in the transaction? If I'm doing that every single time and doing it well, I give myself a 20. If I'm not doing it at all, I give myself a 0. And if I'm somewhere in the middle, I rate myself accordingly. Okay? So that's the first level. Number 2, do I recognize a prospect in a key situation and ask trigger questions to uncover multiple referrals? 1 through 20, are you doing that or not? These two are the most common, easiest, low-hanging fruit that you need to be doing and need to be continually reminding, encouraging, coaching everybody else in your BNI chapter to do. Very, very important that level 1 and 2 have a high score throughout your chapter. Level 3, am I meeting at least once a month to exchange client profiles for level 3, reverse visibility? Okay, this is where you really start separating someone who's serious about creating referrals from the random referral collector. Okay, are you doing reverse visibility or not? Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 12. The annual review, even more so than level 3, because this is a solo activity where only you really know if you're doing this or not. Are you connecting with past clients in casual sphere for an annual review to ask trigger questions? Rate yourself accordingly on a scale of 1 to 12. Now we get into the advanced levels of systematic visibility. Are we using collateral materials to keep the power team visible in a tangible format? Okay, this is where the power team pioneers or the advanced power team start to measure if they're using some collateral material, scale of 1 to 5. Next, we get into the target marketed material, okay, not just something that is promoting the BNI chapter members and the BNI chapter and the BNI system, but it's through the filter of people getting married, people building a business, and so on. Are you using one of those channels or not, and how well on a scale of 1 to 8? Number 7, a target marketed event. We talked quite a bit earlier about how powerful these target marketed events can be, seminars and workshops. Are you and your power team utilizing this technique or not? Rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 8. Number 8, the social event. Also, we talked about this in pretty good detail. Is this something that's happening for your power team? Rate yourself accordingly. Number 9, the internet. We talked about sharing website links, creating reviews, whether for the products or services, and be it among the chapter members, or better yet, mobilizing your clients and database to do links and reviews. Is your group implementing level 9? Score yourself from 1 to 5. And then finally, are we leveraging visibility and combining expenses where possible, advertising and marketing, that will help, at least one or more other member of the power team? Is this something that we're implementing? And you can see as this is the one that really goes kind of beyond the normal word of mouth networking, and we just start getting into some more traditional marketing techniques. We're rating it, we're giving it 5 points out of a possible 100. Okay, so it's not something that we emphasize, but as we mentioned earlier, we definitely don't want to overlook these kind of opportunities to generate more business for each other. So this is levels 1 through 10. and you add up your scores, and if you turn the page to page 39 in your workbook, you'll see that we have the scoring system listed there, okay? And so the question that you ask there on page 39 is, which levels of systematic visibility can I begin to implement right away? And then where can I improve? What are the things that my group can do? Okay, so this is a pretty practical overview of the 10 levels of systematic visibility as they relate to you and your power team. Okay, so we got a couple things typed in. Someone saying, on the flyers, are these just power team members or the whole chapter, providing that they're relevant? It's the whole chapter. It's providing the whole chapter some visibility, okay? And then Ron is saying, I think the flyers is a great idea. Thanks, Ron. I appreciate that. Let's put these to work, okay? He's saying that we can all pass those out. Absolutely. And for the businesses that have a location where there's foot traffic, they can make the flyers available on the counter or on a wall display. You know, the powerful stuff. It's about making the rest of the group visible in a systematic way.